Alright, so Goku versus Ma Jr. Again, we're expecting for the Golden Week celebration. Not 100% confirmed, but hey, if that's the case, I did go ahead and make some concepts here. In today's video, we're going to be covering Goku specifically, and I think later today I will have a video on Ma Jr. I'm not 100% sure when I'll get to it. It should probably be about 2-3 hours after this video goes up, but today I did go ahead and again make Goku here. I watched the fight between Goku and Ma Jr. Absolutely beautiful fight. If you haven't seen it, honestly recommend watching it, but honestly in general, watch OG Dragon Ball, right? The fight is really good, and I really do enjoy it. It's one of my favorite Dragon Ball fights in general, right? But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about Goku here. So this is obviously Goku. I would assume his name is going to stay as just Goku. I would not presume that he's going to get like teen added to his name. There is one other character that's, you know, in competition with this name, which is the AGL Kai Goku. But I think it'll be fine, right? Because we do have the same name update from like, what, 2 years ago at this point. So it's all good and go, right? Now, this leader skill, I gave him a new category, Incredible Adventure. It's pretty much just Dragon Ball Saga plus the 23rd Budokai Tenkaichi units, right? Incredible Adventure makes, I think, a lot of sense for a new category here. And I think it would be helpful to get all these Dragon Ball Saga characters that were on the Boyhood Saga category, which Boyhood Saga is what Dragon Ball Saga is right now in Global, right? If that makes sense, right? That's why the 23rd Budokai characters aren't on there in the first place, because the Japanese translation is actually Boyhood Saga, not DB Saga, right? I also give him World Tournament as a leader skill because, well, World Tournament, I think it does deserve to get a new category lead, like a 170%, 200%. Then Kamehameha, just to add an actual strong category on top of that, that'll continuously get buffs. So that you add Kamehameha to World Tournament and Incredible Adventure together, and then you get a good amount of characters in there. For his 200% leader skill portion, I made a Battle of Fate because obviously I think this is like the fated battle, right? Between Goku and Ma Jr. again. It was like basically 3 years in the making in terms of in-universe, right? Goku knew who was going to fight Ma Jr. at the 23rd Budokai. Same with Ma Jr. fighting Goku. They both knew about that. They prepared for it. This is definitely like a Battle of Fate moment. And then Earthbred Fighters because, you know, Goku was obviously like an Earthbred fighter there. He's fighting to protect the Earth from Junior. And then on top of that, again, we see Incredible Adventure, World Tournament, and Kamehameha. Like all these categories are basically all Earthbred Fighters category allies. So they're all, it's like all the characters here would get 200%, right? Which would be very funny, right? Now, for his 12 key super attack, this is the Solar Flare combination. I actually brought up some images detailing what I want to see, right? So this is the Solar Flare combination. This is when Goku uses the Solar Flare against his fight against Tien, right? In the semifinals, right? And then he actually does end up knocking out all of Tien's clones there by doing a combination of attacks. Can't really show the animation, but give him a stacking attack and defense there. He does colossal damage and has a high chance to stun. You know, solar flares usually can give you a chance to stun the enemy. So I think that's just nice, and stacking is always going to be helpful in the 12 key super attack. Now, his 18 key super attack. This is the Super Kamehameha. This is the move he uses against Ma Jr. in the, you know, final portion of the tournament. At first he was hesitant to use it. Then Krillin reminded him, hey, you could use the Dragon Balls to wish Ma Jr. back. Although that kind of like wouldn't work anyways. So at the time of the series, Goku was like, oh right, you know, we could do that. That was before it was revealed that if Kami died, the Dragon Balls wouldn't be able to be used anymore. Goku realized that later, but yeah. So Goku used the Super Kamehameha there, and then was able to do a good amount of damage to Piccolo, I feel like, overall. And that's what prompted Piccolo to go into his giant form during the fight, right? So I think, you know, Super Kamehameha, the first time we ever saw the Super Kamehameha, 50% attack and defense raise and mega colossal damage. I think that's enough, right? That does fit enough for sure. Now, let's get to the meat of the actual unit here. So, for his passive skill, he activates the entrance animation upon entry, once only, and then guards all attacks for 4 turns. And then, when guard is activated, he also gets 59% attack and defense. So, The guard is for just the 4 turns, and then the 59% attack and defense is whenever guard is activated. So even after the guard runs out, if you do have type advantage, you will still get the extra stats, which I think is helpful. There has to be an incredible adventure category ally on the team, but that won't be too difficult. I would have, like Path to Power Good Goku would be able to fit that, or we're obviously going to get banner units that are also from there. So if you get like a banner unit Tien from his fight against Goku, he could be like, an incredible adventure support unit. I think that can make a lot of sense. Like, oh, dang, I want to run Tien really bad. Like, what if it's like incredible adventure and then, I don't know, what's another category? Earthbred Fighters, 3 key, 40% attack and defense. It's like, oh, I want to run this guy everywhere, right? So that could be a thing. I gave him, oh yeah, by the way, the entrance animation, I didn't actually pull it up, unfortunately, but it would be like when he's stepping up to the ring to fight Piccolo, right? And then they're just staring at each other. I think that would be a really, really sick entrance animation. It could also be when he removes his weighted clothes from the fight against Tien. I think that would also be a really, really good entrance animation. One of those two, right? So, key 5 and 159% attack and defense. He has a high chance to evade enemy attacks, including super attacks, once 5 or more attacks have been received by this character. So this, I'll get into detail a little later, but there's a reason why I made it specifically like this. But once he receives those 5 attacks, he gains a 50% chance to dodge, which is really, really good. Now, key 3 and then up 59% attack and defense when performing a super attack. Then he gets another key 3 and 59% attack and defense if it's an ultra super attack. So essentially, if you get 18 key with this guy, he is guaranteed to get his 24 key super attack basically, which is obviously quite powerful of an ability to give a unit like that, considering he also has 5 key at the start. Then even if you like want to miss a super attack and get only like 12 key for just some extra stacks, you can get the stacks still. But you don't have to worry about that either, because he still performs a guaranteed additional super attack if key's 24. So I'm basically just giving you, right, if you get the 18 key, which is what you really want to get with this guy, he does basically auto get a 24 key super attack, and then he performs an additional super attack, which gives him some stacking, and then on top of that, he can get his hidden potential system additional before more stacking, right? And even further beyond that, he does have a high chance to nullify enemy super attacks and counter with tremendous power. So I gave him this because this could be this move right here, right? So I'm not going to play the actual video. But what happens is Piccolo actually gets a nice clean hit on Goku right here. And then Goku obviously flies back. Then he turns around and does the feet Kamehameha right here. And then bam, he just goes up there and hits Piccolo right in the face right there, right? That is what I envision for a counterattack. That just makes perfect sense. And then that's a way to get another really cool animation in there. So you see, I'm trying to get as many animations as possible into this card, which is why I made it an LR, because there's so much material. Even though I made this card right here with all these animations, you could probably still make another Dokkan Fest Goku from this fight, right? I kind of went out of my way to squeeze as many of the good animations I found as possible, but there's just so many that you could take from this fight to make as many, you can make 3 different characters from this fight, right? But yeah, so that's why I gave him the counterattack. Obviously, they also buffed this recently, so I feel like either Goku or Ma Jr. will have a counterattack. I just feel like this is perfect. I mean, they could make it a, they can make it a, what's it called, a counterattack against physical supers only. But just make it all supers, right? He's an LR, right? Why not? So, right here, he has a standby. I gave him the standby, but let's take a look at his thing set first. So, All in the Family, Incredible Adventure, Kamehameha, Shocking Speed, Turtle School, First Battle, Legendary Power. I was looking into this, I was like, okay, I want to keep Shocking Speed. I had to get rid of basically either Shocking Speed or what's it called? What other link, Kamehameha or something, and I was like, no, I forgot the link, actually. I think it was Guidance of the Dragon Balls, right? Because I wanted to give him the Dragon Ball Saga link since he was going to lead that category. I'm like, okay, what link do I really get rid of? And then I took a look at this guy. He has Incredible Adventure, but he doesn't have Guidance of the Dragon Balls. Now, Guidance of the Dragon Balls is quite a huge attack link. It's 20% attack right here. But he's the only unit that doesn't have both. So I'm like, okay, well, what I did here is I gave him Fierce Battle. And then I just took off Saiyan Lineage for Legendary Power. And that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, he also lost, what is that? What, he lost another link for Kamehameha here. I think it was, is it Infighter that I took off? Yeah, I took off Infighter for Kamehameha here. So it's like, I still give him a key link here. Like, Turtle School, I believe, is a key link. Incredible Adventure is a key link, right? He's going to be pretty good on key, I feel, overall. Maybe a little too good if you want to, like, just aim for stacks the whole fight, but it's fine. He gets the guaranteed additional super anyways, right? So I don't think it's necessarily that big of a deal to worry about getting the 12 key. So he's basically be living at 24 key, which is obviously very, very good for an LR. And then he'd be on the same category teams. I mean, they could give him, I don't know, like, Final Trump card or something, I guess, if they wanted to. They can probably squeeze another category or two that I'm not remembering. Oh yeah, I didn't add Incredible Adventure there, but Incredible Adventure would obviously be out here. Now, his standby skill. He switches to standby for 5 turns. Then with each attack he receives, he gains 3 charge counts. And then with each super attack he receives, he gets 5 charge counts. The standby can be used after he receives 5 or more attacks, starting from the 5th turn from the start of battle. That's why I gave him this right here, right? So he needs to receive these 5 attacks, and then he gets a high chance. It isn't like, you know, he dodges from the start, or he has a, you know, 10% chance to dodge per attack he receives or something, right? Because if he had that, then you kind of could just get screwed out of getting the standby skill, right? By the time you turn 5, and you're like, oh, because he only guards for the first 4 turns. So you're like, okay, well, I can't get my standby now. And he's kind of sitting like a duck there. So that's kind of the idea behind the, like, you know, the standby requirement, basically. Now, this is him once he goes into standby skill. If I take a look here, wait, I was trying to find it, right? But this is him, right? So he basically just brings his hands up and he's able to guard my junior's, you know, big explosion attack that he does, right? And then he's like, yeah, that does no damage. You kind of suck, bro. So it's like, okay, defensive standby, right? Just like the 8th anniversary Buu Saga duel, right? Obviously, super attack cannot super attack. Cannot attack except when performing a finished attack. Now, warning, I made this guy quite good. Defense plus 259%. He guaranteed guards against all attacks. Then what he does is he targets all enemy attacks that include super attacks to this character for his first appearance. So every single attack that's on the rotation is targeted to him instead of the other allies. So it's basically like a Ghost Usher, and then he just has to tank the attacks, right? But with his stacking defense and, you know, with the different links that he have, it would definitely be able to tank pretty well. Now, because of that, I didn't give him like the damage reduction ability that the 8th anniversary LRs would have. I feel like that would have been a little too strong. But that will also allow him to build up his charge gauge, which, you know, he does have to receive hits for. I personally think it's a smart idea, but, you know. So once he receives those attacks, right, he's able to build up his charge gauge. Again, 3 charge counts for normals, and then 5 charge count when he receives a super attack. He also can foresee enemy super attack. So essentially, even the turn after where he does not do that anymore, he still does know where the super attack is going to be. So in case you want to get that extra charge count, you can't put him where the super attack is, and it's like, okay, that's good. Or you can like move your rotation around depending on what you need to do it. Obviously, the reason why I gave him the Scouter is because he knew Piccolo was going to do that giant explosive wave. So it's like, well, that's basically like a Scouter, right? He knew what Piccolo was going to do. He knew Piccolo was going to do a super, and he just stood there and guarded it, right? Then, on top of that, he took no damage from the Piccolo attack, so I give him this busted ability too. Receive 0 damage from enemy super attack, once only, right? So again, it's only for that first turn, and it's only for that first super attack, so in case the boss supers multiple times. But he's able to receive 0 damage, which means that you're basically invincible for the turn you use it, which is very reminiscent like how LR Orange Piccolo works, right? Quite good. Then once he actually does perform the finished attack, he receives 590% extra attack, right? So keep in mind the Buu Saga duo and then the GT duo only receive 500%. So that's, you know, incredibly powerful. He's gonna hit really hard once he has this, especially considering he does still technically stack attack here. This will hit very, very hard. Now, finish attack 1, I chose as the Bukujutsu. Right, let me actually close some of these tabs here. But the Bukujutsu is the flight technique, right? And this is what he uses to beat Ma Junior, right? I made it the finish attack 1 because I want finish attack 2 to be meteor combination, right? But it's the actual effect is exactly the same for both of these as the 8th anniversary Goku and Vegeta, and then same with the Majin Vegeta, right? But I made the charge counter different because he has to receive attacks, and it's different from all allies getting key, right? Because all allies getting key means that you're likely gonna be able to find it easier to get a higher charge count. Well, I basically wanted to make sure, okay, he doesn't have to take like 20 attacks to get the actual finish attack too. This is the move everyone wants to see. But in case you want to see the Bukujutsu, sure, it's there, right? You have the flight mechanic right there, and you can just use that. So that's pretty cool. But Meteor combination is goated, raw, supreme, amazing. Look at this, dude. I need this in my Dokkan animations, please. I also made it 23 counters. I was thinking around like 20, but I'm like, 23, 23rd Budokai. I think, considering he gets 3 per attack. Let's say if he takes like 9 attacks during the turn, and then a super attack, that is literally, 24? So, like, with all the attacks aimed at him, if you use in the final phase, the next turn you return to, he will be able to use the finish skill and then finish off the enemy, right? And again, it's going to hit very hard. Now, you can tell throughout the whole build, he doesn't have any critical hit chance. He does have additional on dodge. And even after you use the standby skill, he will still have the high chance to evade enemy attacks, and then the high chance to nullify and counter. So even without the guard, he's perfectly fine. The guard is just there to allow him to receive those attacks, right? And I guess he does lose some extra defense once that's gone, right? So it's like, once he uses his like final attack, he's all good there. And then my imagination for like the KO screen, it could be both of these, doesn't really matter, is when he's jumping into the air and he's like, I won, right? He's like, I win the Budokai Tenkaichi, and he's so excited, right? And that's just a great series. That could also be like a support memory, I guess, but I would like it to be in the card. But regardless, that is my concept for this Goku. I put a lot of different thought into this, and I really looked into the actual, series to kind of say, okay, this is why I chose a specific design, because he does this in this series, right? And I think I made this generally good. I mean, he's evading so many attacks versus Tien versus Piccolo. Like, this Goku is dodging and weaving everything. And he does also obviously receive a lot of attacks as well in a fight. And yeah, I just think that it makes a lot of sense there. So let me know what y'all think. Thank you all for watching, and that's it for me. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out.